everybody. Welcome into the Hoover High School Coaches Show with the head coach of the Hoover Bucks, Chip English. I'm Jeff Lloyd, and we're glad to have you joining us here at Beef O'Brady's. And for those of you who are here, we're glad to see you. And if you are in the neighborhood, come on by and enjoy the Wednesday wing night. And we are enjoying a big victory over the Warriors of Thompson last Friday night, Coach. Last year, you went into overtime. You decided, why go overtime this time? Just go with no time on the clock.
Yeah, we just decided to go ahead and end it in regulation. So, no, the guys had a big game. Our week of preparation was so good, and I really, truly believe that's what got us over the top, if you will. So, big win for us, big region win, confidence builder. They're one of the best teams in the state. And so being able to know we belong and on the field and doing what we can do in the way that we did it Friday just gives a big confidence boost going into the last region game against Vestavia and then obviously into the playoffs.
33-30 was the final score, and in case you missed it and didn't get a chance to see it all over the place, James Bryan kicked a 55-yard field goal, which is a school record and one of the top probably in the state, I would imagine.
I would have to imagine. I mean, just the level of focus that he has. He takes such great pride in his skill, and when they go out there every day, a lot of times they don't get the spotlight. But when they have it on them, right? I'm referring to kickers. When they have it on them, it's big, And so glad to see his hard work paying off. I mean, I think he's 8 for 8 on the year.
Yeah.
With multiple long, 25-yard plus field goals. So being able to cap it off with a 55-yarder Friday, it was his 4th field goal. So we were confident in him. We knew it was going to stretch him out a little bit in regards to the length, but the adrenaline was pumping, and we know what he can do now.
Yeah. Let's look at that last series. Actually, a couple of series before that, you had the ball in the red zone inside the 5, and Thompson held you, and you guys kicked the field goal there, and that I believe that's what tied the game, right?
Yeah, and that's the tough part about it, right? So we were tied up or up by 3. So when they would score, and it was kind of back and forth in the second half, when they would score, they would go up by 3, and then when we would score, we'd go up by 4. So the big thing right there was, late in the game, I should say, offense scored when we needed to, and even if it's 3 points, that's still valuable points, especially in a closely matched game. And defensively, we came up big. But I'm going to tell you the biggest factor in the game, in my opinion, was field position, and being able to flip the field like we did. Their average starting position was the 19-yard line. So every time they touched the ball, they arguably had to go 81 yards. And so that was big for us. And I'm going to tell you the field position right there at the very end, we punted away, pinned them inside the 10, and we only punted twice, but being able to pin them inside the 10, defense came up big, forced them to punt. We had great field position around midfield, tied 30-30, so you felt good. We knew we had to get a little bit of yardage. We got them. We actually took I shouldn't say bad, but the goal was to run one more play. We ran a play with about 25 seconds left. My goal was to get in there with about 15 all the way down to 12 seconds, run another play, but it didn't matter what play it was. We just needed a couple yards because I still had the timeout. So we could run a play across the middle, and it would have been fine because I had the timeout to give, and I wanted to keep that. Unfortunately, we took the sack right there. Time got away from us, so we had to burn the timeout. But that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to have to run on our field goal team. I wanted to, go over a couple situations because they had an opportunity for, the kick 6, right? Mm-hmm. So we wanted to make sure we're covering our bases with that. So ended up calling a timeout. Wanted to run another play, but we couldn't, so called a timeout. Discussed a lot of situations right there. Ultimately came up with the best decision, and of course that was to kick it.
In that situation, is James Bryan going there? I got you, coach. Let me go.
No. He's ready to go. He was standing right there, ready to roll. Our whole field goal unit was, and so the big discussion was with me, Coach LeBeau, and Coach Halford and Coach Reeves. Coach Halford being our kicking coach. Going back and forth. Hey, how was he in pregame? Where do we have to get to? Where does he feel comfortable? Left or right hash? All those things were being discussed. Coach Reeves was obviously involved in that decision, and then, Coach LeBeau, if we were not going to kick it right, what play were we going to run? And so a lot of things happening under 45 seconds. But that's what you train for. That's the situations that we put ourselves in, especially on Thursdays where we go over game situations. And so I don't want to act like we were just ready for it, but I feel like we were, I feel like we were, and we made a good decision. Our kicking team got on the field and protected, and we came away with points and ultimately the win.
There was a flag for a while and they were going to call delay of game. Did they and then when we came back on the field, they waved it off. What happened there?
Yeah, the clock messed up, and so it was clicked on 0, but really it wasn't. The play clock shouldn't have mattered right then because we ran the play, remember, with 25 seconds left, so we couldn't have got a delay of game, right? The time wouldn't allow that because you get at least 25 seconds on the play clock. But on we got tackled in bounds right there with like 28 seconds left. And so we got 40 seconds on the play clock. On running plays, it's 40 seconds. So we couldn't have got a delay of game. So when it clicked like that, he saw the official saw the clock, threw the flag, and that's the reason why they corrected it back to the original spot.
Yeah. And was there a discussion? Did you have to point it out to him, or did they get together and decide that, we messed up here?
Thankfully, they recognized that. So when I burned the timeout, I guess the other guy, the other officials were like, hold on a second. There couldn't have been a delay of game because the last play was under 40 seconds. So glad they got it fixed, and had it situated. And ultimately that kind of gave me the confidence, right, from that position where, hey, let's go for a 55-yarder.
Yeah, and thankfully you didn't have to worry about going and pleading your case with the official while you're trying to decide what to do with the football.
Yeah, that would have been another element, right, that I would have had to deal with. But overall, the officials took care of it. We were discussing it the whole time, going back and forth. Hey, and we have a play that, you have a Hail Mary play, but then you have another play that you have to run from like midfield beyond where we didn't feel like we could get it to the end zone right there. So we were going over all those situations, and we were ready to go either way. Coach LeBeau had the offense ready to roll with that play, and ultimately Coach Halford, myself, and Coach Reeves, they all kind of pitched their thought process, and then ultimately I had to make a decision on let's kick it.
Yeah. We've been talking all year long about putting 4 quarters together all year long, and it looked like this was probably the game that you were able to do that.
It was for sure. And, putting all of it together shows you how dangerous and good we can be beating one of the top-tier teams in the state. And so I'm glad to see it. Lord knows we went through enough weeks not seeing a full 4 quarters, and thankfully we came away with some wins and was able to do some things throughout the season to grow and learn as a team. We did that, and we was able to put it together. And we knew offensively for them, they were going to get some yards, and they did. Trent's good enough where he was picking his spots and doing some good things. They had a good offensive game plan against some of our pass rushers. We did disrupt his timing, I believe, and so being able to do that on all 3 phases of the game and beating a big region opponent like Thompson, so really happy for the guys. That's what we want to see moving in to the latter half of the year.
Lincoln Anderson, your center, has to feel some redemption after snapping the football, the long snap, then the placement. Everything has to go right, and a lot of people take that extra point, and they take, they say it's a chip shot. They take it for granted that everything's got to go right. The timing's got to be right. And then he had the snap that went out of the end zone, so you had a safety that was 2 points that went up on the board against you, and he was able to make the great snap, and then James Bryant finishes off with the kick.
I'll say this. especially in football in general, nothing is easy. And so knowing that, right, we have a high-level snapper in Lincoln. The snap that went into the end zone, it was just a miscommunication. It was a very rowdy fans, in the stadium. And so the focus level maybe just wasn't where it needed to be. There was a miscommunication. He thought Caleb told him to snap it. Obviously, Caleb did not because he wasn't ready. Went out of the back of the end zone, and we learned from a mistake earlier in the year where we didn't fall on the ball. Parker ended up scoring. We knew Caleb. It went out of the back of the end zone, but Caleb, assisted it out of the back to ensure only 2 points instead of 6. So, again, even in those moments, you're seeing the growth of our team, the mentality of our team. And, yeah, he didn't cave in, right? He had to go out there and really, really perform. And not only Lincoln, but our offensive line. And really, that was the offensive players of the week for us, is our offensive line. Because on paper, we were not supposed to do what we did. And those guys just kind of showed their grit and tenacity to go out and play at a high level and beat guys that they shouldn't have beat. So really, it says a lot about them and our coaching staff.
We're spending a lot of time on talking about the field goal, but then again, it was historic. But when a place kicker has that kind of distance, whether it's 55 yards, 45 yards, or even, inside that, is he concentrating more on accuracy, or is he thinking about distance? Because he's got to put a lot of leg into that.
Yeah, there's a balance. And really when it comes to that, it's muscle memory, right? They're going through, they're trying to strike the ball at the exact right spot. Their feet have to be correct. The hold has to be there. So a lot of it's muscle memory, and it's just doing it over and over and over again. Whether it's a 10-yard field goal or a 55-yarder, from my understanding, and I'm not a kicking guru, but it's the same. You want it to be the same. Now, to say that they don't have to put a little bit more leg into it, I think that would definitely have to be the case. But as far as the stroke, it's the same. So it's just muscle memory.
Yeah, well, we've seen him kick. His longest earlier in the game had been 37 yards. That matched his longest of the season. And he could have kicked that one 47 yards or more, because just because it crosses the upright doesn't mean it stops there.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and that goes back to just everything remains the same. You're focusing on your steps. You're positioning your body and getting your body prepared to kick through the ball, depending on the hash and the distance. So everything stays the same, and he showed that. He showed that confidence and that precise ability to strike the ball, with that.
Might have been the best officiated game of the year, but I noticed you were in the ear of the side judge all night.
Yeah.
What were you seeing that I wasn't?
Well, just little things. And listen, you get into an intense moment like that, you want it to be perfect, right? And so just like I yell at the players, there might be times where I yell at the officials. And I do it with respect, but you want to fight for your guys and argue, and if you see something that maybe they don't see, you want to tell them about it, right? And so I've watched hours and hours and hours of film on a team. So sometimes I'm letting them know maybe that they only have 7 people watching. And so it's just one of those things. And listen, it's an exciting game, and I might be telling them good job, but I might be yelling it at them. So listen, they're human just like we are. I've made mistakes in calls, and they're going to. And so there's a level of controversy there, right, or tension between coaches and officials that'll always be there. But I think if you do it out of respect and you try to do it the right way, that they respect that, and I think you can get more done by doing it. So, I'm always going to argue a little bit.
We are at Bifo Brady's, and we are now looking toward this Friday night, and you still have your destiny in your own hands. That's the great thing about it. You win Friday night, it doesn't matter what anybody else does.
Yeah, and that's what we want to be. We allowed ourselves to be that way by winning on Friday, and so we're on a little bit of a hot streak. Hopefully we can keep that going. There's a lot of different scenarios when it comes to seeding and who's going to win, who's going to lose, where we would go, would we host. My biggest thing is we need to go out and take care of business on Friday night. That looks to be like we could get the 3 seed if we do that. And so that's the goal, to get that 3 seed, go into the playoffs with confidence, and look, kind of seem like we could be playing Auburn at Auburn, in that first round.
Let me back up just a second, going back to last Friday's game. Because of the seeding, you either be 3 or 4, and it's possible you could, if some crazy things happen, it may change even more. It's possible you could end up being a number 1 seed from what we were talking with David Crabtree.
With certain wins, with the Thompson loss, Pratt will win, we win, we could be as high as 1. I don't even want to speak like this, but with certain losses and the Thompson loss, we could be out. So we really, really control it in our hands. We got to go out there and take care of business against a really good Vestavia Hills team, and so we have our hands full this week. While we want to play for seeding, we can't overlook this game.
We're going to talk about Vestavia in just a second, but I'm going to dwell on this last game, because depending on how this Friday turns out, very well could have been the last home game for these seniors. And I think that probably was why a lot of these guys didn't want to leave the field last Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, we have a tradition here at Hoover that those players walk back from the Met back to the high school, and it's just something that they kind of get to walk off the field and look behind them and see what they've done over the last 4 years. And there's a good chance if we take care of business, we could see a home game in the playoffs, but that was the last guaranteed game. And to go out like we did for those seniors, they've had a lot to deal with in front of them, and they've handled it with maturity and growth over the years. And so for them to be able to take it into their own hands is something special, and hopefully it's something they'll never forget.
And as you get older, and this applies to anything, time goes by so quickly, it's hard to believe it's the 10th game of the season coming up.
Yeah, it's going by like this, and everybody, everybody included, you have your head down, you're grinding, you're working towards the next day, and that next thing you know, and it's the middle of October, and we're talking about the playoffs.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Vestavia. They are a team that has been a rivalry from the time it was Berry High School and when the schools split off from one another, and it's been a rival since the beginning of time, and they are a formidable team.
It has, and we had Mr. Rhett Whitley, a 77 graduate of the Berry Bucks, come and talk to the team today.
Chuck Whitley?
Maybe. Mr. Whitley, he graduated in 77, and went on to play at Southern Miss. But he came back, spoke to the team about the rivalry, about just the, I don't want to say hatred, but just the spirited, games between the two schools. And our guys, there was a couple laughs, some serious moments, some stories told, and it just goes back to what high school sports is really meant to be, right? And I value that. And the high school experience for these guys, with games like this, with experiences like they had last week, it's just so special. And that's what you really work for as a coach. You want to win, and everything we do is under the umbrella of winning. But when you're in a place like Hoover and you have the rivalries that we do, man, these kids are going through something really, really special. And I don't know if they realize it now, but I know they will in the future. And that's no different this week, you know, and it's always more special when you win.
I know who you're talking about. Red Whitley
yes.
is who it was, and Red is the younger brother of Chuck Whitley,
okay, gotcha.
who was the athletic director at Hoover High School, at Berry High School and Hoover High School when we first opened up the school. So
gotcha.
they're intertwined.
Yeah.
And Chuck can tell you some stories too about the Vestavia. Well, tell me about give me a scouting report on Vestavia.
A lot of guys that are similar in size. They're 6 foot, 185 pounds. They fly around. They're playing with confidence right now. Coach Evans does a good job of making sure they're lined up correctly. And I say that because they're moving around all the time, but they end up in the right spots, and that's a credit to him and his staff. We got to do a good job of playing with our eyes open, but also playing fast. I think, we have the favor in a couple of the matchups, but we got to go out there and execute it for us to do that. And so defensive line is very active. Defensive backs, they move around a lot. They've created a lot of turnovers. And so we got to do a good job of taking care of the ball. That's always important. Offensively, they have several backs that can really run. And so we got to make sure that we're not high when we tackle. We got to tackle low.
And adding to that rivalry, Rob Evans, who is the head coach, had been the defensive coordinator at Hoover High School for a number of years, and then went back over to his alma mater. And so he played at Vestavia. He's coached at Hoover. Now he's back as the head coach over there, replacing Buddy Anderson, I believe. Actually, I think he was one coach after Coach Anderson left. But he's an intense guy. He used to be across the hall from me doing ISS. And I relieved him at the end of the day. And so I know Rob pretty well at this point.
He's a good guy. He does it right. He has those guys playing really hard right now. And, a lot of times what people don't realize is execution and effort goes a long way. And he's doing that over there. And so I have no doubt it'll be a very big crowd over there. And we're going to have to fight tooth and nail to come away with a victory. And
you've played well on the road. That's an encouraging thing, too. You're 4-0 on the road.
Yeah, we feel comfortable in those settings. And it might sound crazy, but we love playing at the Met. It's the best venue in the country. But it's just something about going on the road where you feel like your back's against the wall and everybody's against you. And our guys have responded well to that. And it's going to be no different Friday.
Well, we're going to wrap things up here and get some wings. We invite you to join us out here. We haven't quite decided yet. We're talking with our producer, David Crabtree, whether or not we're going to have
a
show
man of many hats
next week, or if we're going, because even if, regardless of the outcome, there's an off week.
Yeah.
And so there's a week and then the playoffs. So we'll kind of let you know by way of social media what we'll be doing. We will tell you that we will be on the air with a broadcast at 6:45 this coming Friday night from Vestavia High School, and we'll have the play-by-play at 7 o'clock, so we hope you'll join us at that time. Coach, good luck on Friday night.
Appreciate
it. Just take care of business. When we worry about everybody else, they'll take care of themselves.
That's right. That's the goal.
Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. We thank you for watching, and you can watch this on the NFHS Network, or you can watch it also on the YouTube channel, and we hope to have some highlights at the end of this. So for the coach, I'm Jeff Lloyd, and we'll talk to you from Vestavia on Friday night.
Go Bucks.
The light throw now, they don't know it, but we've been on all week. Win on 3, 1, 2, 3. Win. Let's go.
Friends, good evening, everyone. Welcome into Hoover High School football. We're here at the Hoover Met, and this is the game that a lot of people have been waiting for. The Thompson Warriors coming in to take on the Hoover Bucks. A lot of people didn't expect Hoover to be in this situation, but they are still very much in charge of their own destiny.
Every single game, we've seen them take steps towards the right direction.
They keep it on the ground again. This is Kelly. Spins off. Goes to his right. He gets a step, and he's in for the touchdown.
That is how you want to start your game.
Freeman, he's going to air it out down the middle. Got Tab. Tab caught it. It's a touchdown.
Beautiful ball from Caleb Freeman.
And that ball is going to be plenty long enough, and it is good. And it's fumbled, and it's recovered by the Bucks. I believe they got it. He's trying to turn the corner. He does. Touchdown, Hoover.
We've been wondering when Mosley was going to get a touchdown of his own.
Snap, the placement, the kick is up, and it is good, and it's 30-30. This is going to be a 55-yarder. The snap, the placement, the kick, it is good! Good, and the Bucks have won it.
We want to control our own destiny, and we do that by winning. So that was the goal tonight, and we accomplished that. So can't be happy enough for the city of Hoover. The mayor came out. Everybody's at this stadium tonight, and we put on a show.
We're on to the next game. It's always the next game, but we're ready. We're going to savor this for the next 2 days, but then it's on to the next week. We got more work to do.
Whole lot of momentum gain right here. No doubt in my mind the Bulls is going to win, right? So now next we got to keep winning, keep winning. We always preach 1-0 every week, so 1-0, keep winning.
We're on a great road, man. We're really showing the city. We started off slow, but now we're coming against the group. Now we're just trying to go 1-0 mentality, stack games, stack days.